Top Rank has Devin Haney and they got Shakur Stevens, then they need to fight each other. Don't worry about Tank. Remember, everybody's saying Tank ain't doing, he's not this, he's not that, and Tank don't have this belt, he don't have that belt, different things. Well, guess what? If that's true, then guess what? Don't worry about Tank.
Right here, like I said before, we're not gonna call no particular fighter out, and it's not like we ducking or dodging anyone. Lomachenko has to fight as many fights as possible, extremely quick, because he's very, very old. Tank is probably 10 years or 11 years younger than Lomachenko. Lomachenko will be 40 before you know it. There's no rush, Tank. Your job is to continue to go out there and do what you're doing. You making the same money Lomachenko is making, and you're doing it easier. Lomachenko just fought, and Lomachenko is a hell of a fighter.
Fight Hype released another interview with Floyd Mayweather. Ultimately, they recorded one big interview and then have split it up into different segments and different videos that they've posted. But this newest one that was released was about the pound-for-pound list, why Tank Davis isn't regarded as a pound-for-pound fighter, and a couple other things too. But diving into it, Floyd Mayweather was asked, why do we feel Gervonta Tank Davis isn't on the pound-for-pound list? He responded by saying, you know, he deserves to be on there, like with names such as Terrence Crawford, Inoue, Canelo, a bunch of other couple fighters that were mentioned. But another thing he said was he feels he's not on that pound-for-pound list because of himself, Floyd Mayweather, being in Gervonta Tank Davis's corner, being his promoter. He's getting hated on, essentially, for Floyd Mayweather being his promoter, or previous promoter. Gervonta Tank Davis isn't on the pound-for-pound list because he doesn't have anyone on his resume that was a pound-for-pound champion, or you could say was a 50-50 fight going into it. His best name on his resume at the moment is Ryan Garcia. Okay, I mean, that's the biggest name. He's got Jose Pedraza. That was a good win at the time. He's got Hector Garcia. He was a 130-pound champion that moved up to 135 to challenge Tank. The fight made no sense to me at all. I mean, it was to prepare him, I guess, for Ryan Garcia, but styles are completely different. And then another notable win on his resume is Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz started his career at 122 pounds, moved up throughout the weight classes up to 130, and Tank fought him for whatever belt it was. But nonetheless, you can look at BoxRec, use Google BoxRec, look up Gervonta Tank Davis's resume, and it's not one that is a pound-for-pound resume. He's got a couple notable wins, notable names, I should say. But Leo Santa Cruz has never been on the pound-for-pound list. Hector Garcia was never on the pound-for-pound list. Ryan Garcia, never on the pound-for-pound list, never was even a champion. The fight that they had wasn't for any belt, championship, or anything. You look at that resume, and it's just a bunch of B-level Mexican fighters. One thing we say about certain fighters, Canelo, for example, and I'm not even a Canelo fan, to be completely honest with you, but when I look at him and Gervonta Davis, they're two big names in the sport of boxing, but they're almost on the same type of, they're taking charge of their careers almost the same exact way. The reason I bring up his name is because, being Canelo, is because we criticize him for not getting in the ring with undefeated black American champions. Name me one person on Gervonta Tank Davis' resume that was a black undefeated American champion. He doesn't have one. But he's been in a weight class years now with Devin Haney. Been around relatively the same weight classes as Shakur Stevenson. Back then, Tevin Farmer from Philly. Tevin Farmer at a period of time was a good fighter and was calling for that fight. Never happened. Regis Progress. Now he's not undefeated, but he held a belt and held multiple belts at 140 pounds. Now he's the WBC champion that Devin Haney's moving up to fight. Someone that Gervonta's been ducking for years. He wanted to move up to 140, fight Mario Barrios, a dude we never heard of. Now he's popular because he got whooped by Tank for an interim belt. But not one person on a resume that we can say it was a 50-50 fight going into the fight. Vasyl Lomachenko was another fighter years ago that was calling him out. That fight never happened. And we heard the audio at the beginning of this video. Essentially, Mayweather wanted to age him out, get to a point where, maybe Tank got his confidence boosted up a little bit. Maybe he got off, Floyd Mayweather's titty and decided to step up and fight. But that's not what's happened. Even today, to this day, Gervonta Tank Davis is 28, 29 years old now. Still hasn't gotten in the ring with anyone. Not even an old Vasily Lomachenko. But Devin Haney did. Devin Haney's 24, 23 years old right now. Just got done beating Vasyl Lomachenko. But when Gervonta Tank Davis was Devin Haney's age right now, that fight didn't happen. When Vasyl Lomachenko was a champion. Okay, and then another thing too, just to touch on real quick, because it was one more thing that Mayweather mentioned. He feels that he's not on the list. Tank Davis isn't on the pound-for-pound list because of himself. Yeah, it's probably right, because you've been having him on your nipple, sucking on the titty his whole career. You haven't let him get in the ring with any killers, anyone that's regarded as a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter. But you fought pound-for-pound fighters throughout your career. Maybe the earlier part of your career, toward a little bit later as well. I mean, you got some notable wins on your resume. Tank Davis don't. And it's not about, I guess, anymore the belts. And I didn't think we would ever come to a spot where we say belts don't matter, championships don't matter. That's what made all the other champions great. All the iconic names that we can think of from way back in the day. You want to talk about Jack Johnson, Rocky Marciano, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, Roberto Duran, Floyd Mayweather, right? Now we got Terrence Bud Crawford going undisputed 2 times. That's what makes these fighters great, is because they conquered their divisions. Yeah, Gervonta Tank Davis is a great talent. Don't get me wrong. But at this rate, he's not a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter. And if he keeps fighting tune-up fights his whole career, then he's never going to be a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter. And he won't be remembered as one of the greatest fighters ever. Maybe one of the most popular, but he won't be a Hall of Famer. Unless they develop a Hall of Fame portion for popularity. Right? But Mayweather is just guarding him like he's been his whole career. But we got to think about it. It makes sense. Boxing's a business. Gervonta Tank Davis is a cash cow. He goes in there, gets his ass whooped against Devin Haney or Shakur or anyone. Then there goes his stock. There goes that stock. There goes all the money that PBC is going to be bringing in. They already lost their other one. Earl Spence got his ass whooped. And I see the same thing happening to Shakur Stevenson the same thing's happening to him like it did Bud. They're gonna block him out. They're gonna block him out, not give him the big fights. You can see him right now struggling to get a fight. But we'll probably end up seeing Gervonta Tank Davis fight Isaac Pitbull Cruz for a second time. A meaningless fight. Overrated. Didn't want no smoke with Shakur. Really anyone. We see him fighting a bunch of no-names since he's fought Gervonta Tank Davis the first time. And it's because he's just waiting for a rematch. Another payday. But it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like, hate, comment, subscribe. Until next time. Deuces.